guys, welcome back to a brand new video. I'm RexFinance, and today we're going to be talking about a topic I'm a little bit surprised has not been talked about much in the world of stock market and investment YouTube channels. Today we're going to be talking about the election season and what stocks in particular I consider to be election proof. We're going to dig into what makes them election proof in my eyes, as well as look into 3 of my picks for the coming months. Historically, election season brings uncertainty into the markets, and the markets never like uncertainty, so as a direct result of that, we see lackluster returns in the markets around election season in election years. So today we're going to talk about my top 3 election-proof stocks, and obviously when I'm looking for these companies, I'm looking for companies that no matter who is elected, whether it's Joe Biden or Donald Trump, no matter who's elected, these companies are going to succeed and outperform the common market. So first, let's talk about what you need to look for if you're looking for election-proof stocks. You need to find a company that has a near-term catalyst coming up, meaning a company that has an event coming up before the end of the calendar year that could really be beneficial to their stock price. Another thing I looked for in particular was a growing company in an industry that both parties support. And let's be honest, there isn't a whole lot that Republicans and Democrats can agree on today, but there's one thing in particular that both parties support, and that is the shift to clean energy. So all of my picks today are going to have to do with the clean energy industry. And I believe you're going to way outperform the market in the month of November and the following months after the election has taken place. So before we get into this, I have to say one thing so I don't get sued. I am not a financial advisor. I am a sophomore in college. I'm a 19-year-old with a passion for investing in stock market YouTube. So I would encourage you, especially if you're unfamiliar with these stocks beyond what I'm about to talk about, to do your own due diligence outside of watching this video. I understand that watching YouTube videos is a part of due diligence and research these days in the stock market, but like I said, if you're not familiar with these companies especially, please do your own research outside of watching this video. But without further ado, let's get into stock pick number 1, which is CleanSpark. And oftentimes when I do these types of videos, I don't rank my picks in any particular order, and I'm not going to do that in this video either, but I will say my number 1 pick in this video overall would be CleanSpark. CleanSpark is focused on clean energy solutions through microgrids. If you guys aren't aware what a microgrid or the traditional grid is, I would suggest doing your own research before watching the rest of this segment of the video, or going onto my channel and watching old videos I've done on CleanSpark, which I go more in depth on what a microgrid is. I personally believe that mass adoption of microgrids will happen over time, and I think the traditional grid is going to be done away with come 20-30 years from today. The microgrid industry itself is set to see 28% compound annual growth. Let alone finding a company that's going to be growing at 28%, finding an industry that's going to be growing at 28% compounded annually is ridiculous. So with microgrids, there's generally 3 business segments and opportunities that go along with the industry. Those segments consist of hardware, software, and consulting services. There is a lot of competition when it comes to the hardware side of the microgrid industry. However, there isn't much that somebody can do to set their hardware apart from another company's hardware. So that's part of the reason CleanSpark's vision is to shift its entire focus away from hardware into the software. And if there's one thing that's certain about microgrids, it's that they all need software to achieve optimal results. Through the software segment of the microgrid industry, it allows for more competitive advantages than the hardware side does. CleanSpark software in particular is regarded as the best in the industry, and that is because their software can work with already previously installed utilities like solar panels, wind turbines, etc. Other microgrid companies out there that have a standing in the software side of things force the customer to tear down those solar panels, to tear down those wind turbines that were already previously installed. And then from there, they force the customer to buy new solar panels and wind turbines from that company in particular. So that, along with CleanSpark's patents, is just the reason why CleanSpark software is so far ahead of the competition and why theirs is going to be the most popular going forward. So speaking on solar panels, many businesses combined have spent tens of billions of dollars on renewables over the past few years. Sustainability accounting has been an increased trend and even a requirement for businesses to meet. However, what might surprise you is that these companies are paying more than they did before they installed these renewable energy resources. That's because there wasn't an even playing field for DERs or distributed energy resources. They were charged more after the implementation of renewables due to change in tariff rates, and in particular, these companies would be double taxed. However, that's all changing as of today. FERC Order 2222 was passed. This order and ruling allows for more of an even playing field. It gets rid of the double taxation. It gets rid of the extra cost that these businesses have to be a part of. So now, instead of spending more on their energy, they can officially finally spend less on their energy because of the renewables that they had purchased previously. So because you have private companies doing business with federally regulated utilities, a communications protocol must be standardized and certified. And that protocol that is widely adopted today was created by GridFabric. Now, CleanSpark just recently, within the past few weeks, acquired GridFabric. They saw this order and ruling coming from a mile away. CleanSpark themselves has given their own input to the government. They have lobbyists. They have relationships with colleagues that have spoken as experts at conferences. And most importantly, this means that they always have their hand on the pulse of what the government is transmitting. So that means that CleanSpark is going to know what's going on, what's going to happen, way before the public eye can even see that thing coming. And there's nothing better when finding election-proof stocks than finding a company that has a firm standing inside of the government itself. So through the acquisition of GridFabric, CleanSpark now owns the creator, the architect of that communications protocol, which is certified today. That protocol is called Open ADR. ADR stands for Automated Demand Response. And demand response means that if there's oversupply, the utilities company will send a signal to the customer saying that the oversupply is going to be stored in the battery or a storage unit. The same can be true if there's too much demand. A signal will be sent to the customer saying, we're going to draw on this stored energy, this stored power, and distribute it to the areas that the demand is high currently. So again, GridFabric is the architect and the company that created this protocol. And without this protocol, those sorts of transactions can't take place. And if you're looking to participate in transactions or open ADR, to build your own, it costs $200,000 to $300,000. However, through CleanSpark and GridFabric in particular, they can offer a 75 to 90% discount from that $200,000 to $300,000 upfront charge, in turn for some revenue share from that customer or from that business. If a business wanted to create its own protocol, it would take 6 to 9 months to be approved, but through CleanSpark or GridFabric, that goes down to 2 weeks before you're certified. So it's much less of an upfront cost, and it takes less time to become certified through CleanSpark and GridFabric, which is why you're going to see a lot of businesses go with the GridFabric approach. So CleanSpark now has the ability to forecast utility rates and weather patterns on a vendor-agnostic, software-defined microgrid, which doesn't really exist anywhere else but from CleanSpark and GridFabric combined. In addition to this, CleanSpark can maximize the value of energy and provide the certified communications protocol to allow these transactions to occur, which further differentiates CleanSpark from its competition in the microgrid industry. So while we're on the topic of confusing protocols and rulings and orders, let's talk about IEEE 2030.5. This protocol, which is unique to GridFabric, requires all smart grid devices that are participating with the grid to be using this protocol. In particular, the focus of this protocol is for EV charging stations. So EV charging stations is just yet again another industry, another business segment, another market that CleanSpark now successfully has infiltrated. So if you guys can't tell, I could talk about CleanSpark all frickin' day long, but let's get into stock pick number 2, which is another company I've talked about previously on my channel, and I'm still very confident in the business. That company is Workhorse Group, ticker symbol WKHS. I was the very first YouTuber to cover this company back when the stock was $2.84 a share. I still hold all 1,500 shares that I bought back at that price. Workhorse is taking on the electric delivery niche inside of the EV market. In addition to that, they're also focused on drone delivery with very, very key patents that no other company has. In particular, one of these key patents is a patent that prohibits any other business, any other delivery vehicle to launch a delivery drone from the top of that vehicle. So if a company wants to use a delivery vehicle along with a delivery drone, they have to find a different way to launch the delivery drone, but from the top of it. So the main focus around Workhorse is the USPS contract, which is valued at $6.3 billion up front over the course of 5 years. there's pretty much a 99% chance that Workhorse is going to get at least some of this contract, if not the majority, if not all of it. In particular, over the past months, we've seen that Congress has been working on and passing bills that allow for the purchase of electric vehicles for governmental purposes. And in particular, some direct language is used, such as the United States Postal Service delivery vehicles being electric. The only all-electric manufacturer left in the running for this contract is Workhorse. In addition to that, they're the only all-American bidder left in the running. So if you guys want more reasons on why Workhorse is going to win this contract, I would suggest you go watch this video on the screen now. I'll leave a card up in the top corner as well as a link down in the description. I guarantee you, after watching that video, you're going to be convinced that Workhorse is going to win this contract. So this is a great example of finding a company that has a near-term catalyst coming up, which in this case is the USPS contract. The only material evidence we've received from the United States Postal Service themselves is that the contract will be awarded by the end of the calendar year. However, that is plenty of time for the time frame we're looking at. Workhorse is going to drastically outperform the market over the coming months. And if I'm wrong, I encourage you guys to come back to this video and just hammer me down in the comments section. However, even if Workhorse somehow didn't get any of that contract, the industry they're taking on is valued around $35 billion. And there is some competition for Workhorse, but in the end, Workhorse, along with just one other company, are going to be the major players in this industry. So just by that math, Workhorse has around a $19 billion market potential in front of them. Their customers already consist of UPS, FedEx, WB Mason, StockX, etc. And even after its meteoric stock rise since I bought in at $2.84 a share, I highly recommend this stock as a buy, especially going into the election season. The original next generation delivery vehicle contract was actually proposed while Democrats were in office, and it's continued to progress as Republicans have been in office. So even if a change of hands takes place in November, Workhorse is going to succeed and the contract will be awarded. If you still need more reasons on why to invest in Workhorse, just consider that ARK Invest, the extreme Tesla bull, is bullish on Workhorse. They've been adding and accumulating shares ever since $14 a share, all the way up to $28 a share. When you have somebody like Cathie Woods, who might be regarded as one of the best in the business by some investors, investing in Workhorse, you know you're in good hands. And again, this is another company I could talk about for hours and hours if I wanted to, but if you guys want more information on Workhorse, I would encourage you to go check out my channel videos, and you'll see plenty of videos on Workhorse and why I believe in them in the future, so go check those out if you want more information. But lastly, let's get into stock pick number 3, which actually might be a company that some of you have not heard of. I've only talked about this company once on my channel, which was when they were below $5 a share. I currently own 1,000 shares of this company, and this company is Flux Power, ticker symbol FLUX. That video I did on Flux Power was almost a 30-minute deep dive into the business, so if you want more information on Flux Power beyond what I'm about to say, I would encourage you to go check out that video. It'll be on the screen right now and a link down in the description as well. Flux Power is focused on the electrification of the material handling sector through the adoption of lithium-ion batteries. And no matter which party is elected, more warehouses will continue to pop up across the country as consumer demand for delivery within 24 hours of the order being placed increases. The only way that same-day delivery can be a thing is if a product is already shipped to a nearby warehouse based on consumer trends in that area. So you're going to need many warehouses popping up in every single state across the country, and that just leads me to the next segment of Flux Power. They power warehouse robotics using their lithium-ion batteries. However, in particular, Flux Power is focused on the electrification of forklifts in every single classification or style of forklift. However, on top of this, they have a partnership with Vivint Solar to provide batteries for its EV charging stations. So yet again, this is a clean energy company that has ties to the electric vehicle market. Flux Power's customers consist of Delta, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, Budweiser, Frito-Lay, Kraft Heinz, Caterpillar, AutoZone, the list goes on and on and on. So they already have a very established list of high-end customers that are going to continue to order batteries from Flux Power if they like the product. The only thing I will say about Flux Power is that it is probably the most risky investment that I recommended in this video. Their balance sheet is putrid. However, recently they implemented a margin expansion plan and they are already reaping the benefits of implementing that plan into its business. I expect Flux Power to release earnings next week, so that could be a major short-term catalyst for Flux Power going forward, on top of the fact that their revenues are growing at astounding rates and their margins are continuing to increase, meaning they are becoming more and more profitable. So if you guys enjoyed this video and enjoyed my picks, make sure you guys hit the like button down below. It really helps out my channel. In addition to that, if you're new or returning and not yet subscribed, hit the subscribe button down below. Just next to that is a join button if you want to join my paid monthly membership, which gives you access to the members only Discord channel as well as buy and sell alerts whenever I buy or sell a stock. So with that, guys, have a great rest of your day. Have a great weekend. I'll be back on Monday with a brand new video. Peace out.